Hello, and welcome to the Daily Gas for November 22nd, 2025, called William Tell by Clover. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Wherever there is an arrow adjacent to a row or column, the first three digits in that row or column must increase in the same direction as the arrow points. Also, all possible arrows have been given. That is, if there is no arrow adjacent to a row or column, the first three digits must neither increase nor decrease. So what does that all mean? Well, we have our Rossini Sudoku once again, um, but there is a negative constraint on this one. Rossini, of course, William Tell, being the composer of the opera, but most famously the William Tell Overture, which you probably, if you don't know it by name, you probably would know it if you hear it. So actually, after this, I'm probably gonna have to go and listen to it just to satiate myself on that one. But in all seriousness, how does this actually work? Well, Clover gives us a couple of for instances and ways to think about how this could work out. So the three digits on the far right of row 7, so this is the far right of row 7, we have this arrow pointing in this direction, must increase from right to left. So the way I explained it last time, and the way that I like to think about Rossini Sudokus, is that you essentially have drawn a thermometer where there is an arrow. So in the direction of the arrow. In this case, like this one, would be the first three cells here. Um, on this side or here, right? We would draw the bulb here and we would extend in both of these directions so that we are increasing this way and increasing that way. So you can do that if that's what helps you. As I shared last time, all you have to do is go to the settings and click Enable Pen Tool, and that'll allow you to do all this cute little drawing that I've done here. But more importantly is this negative constraint that Clover has given us, where all possible arrows have been given. So what she notes here is that when we're looking at a row or whatever, a set of three cells on the edge of the board where there is no arrow, we know that the central digit is either the highest or the lowest value of the three. If it wasn't, let's just say by default this was 1 in 6, right, just arbitrarily, if this wasn't the lowest of the set or the highest of the set, that would mean it's the middle of the set, which would mean no matter how you place these digits, you'd either be increasing or decreasing. So what that actually does for us is it tells us this would have to be either the lowest or the highest. So in this case, something like this, where now we are no longer increasing or decreasing because the lowest digit exists in the middle, or if you jump over to 7, right, let's say like 1 in 3 here, this would be valid way to solve this, but like this wouldn't, because again, we've increased in this direction. In this case, there is no way to increase or decrease because this is the highest digit. So around the grid, we essentially will get these cells that have to be the highest of their set. If we just kind of do a little thing like that. And of course, anywhere where we have these arrows, we need to make sure we're following those thermometer rules. So that was a lot of rambling there, but hopefully that all made sense. Those are the rules. Let's just jump right into it. All right, so we need to increase. We need to increase. Oh, and then something we can think about here is we know that this has to be the highest of the set because of there's a 1 here, just like, and look at that. That's exactly where we need to be looking here. We know across in this direction, this needs to be the highest value of the set because if it isn't, right, and you have like a 4 here, we've broken already. We have an increasing set where there is no arrow. So what that means is this has to be 2. We've now used 1, 2, and 3, which means the only digit that works that's less than 5 still would be 4. And here We need a 2, 3 pair essentially, and we can resolve that with 2 and 3. Then we can do kind of the opposite over here, right? These will have to be the lowest of the set, which means this is 8, this is 6. And then we have a 7, 8 that is actually not resolvable. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. So then what can we do from here? You know, 7 will have to go in one of these two cells. If this was 7, then we would break because then we would need to still somehow place 8 and 9, and both of those will be greater than 7. We can't place both of them in this cell here, which means this has to be 7. I don't know why that's what made sense to me, but it did. We need a digit that is greater than 7 that isn't 8, so it must be 9. And then here, 6, 8 actually is just resolvable by Sudoku. Can we do something similar over here? Yeah, it's the same exact thing. Look at that. 7. If we placed 7 here, then what would happen is the same problem. We'd have a need to place 8 and 9, but if they went into either of these two cells, then it would just be broken. Even easier, just 8. If 8 went in this cell, you just break. So this cannot be 7. This must be 7. 8 needs to go here or here. Ah, and okay, and this is the thing that I wasn't necessarily thinking about as well. We need something greater than 7 or 5 or something less than 7 or 5. Well, we already know we can't do anything less than that, so it must be greater. It can't be 8, so it must be 9, which means this is 8 and this is the 6. Oh, and I guess actually I've just missed that we could have just placed the 6 pretty straightforwardly, but that's fine. Why make it easy when you can make it hard? 7 here, 8 here. And then we can essentially do the same thing that we were doing with the 7 with 3 instead, right? We know we'll need to place, oh, never mind. Let's not make it hard for ourselves this time. 3, this is 2, this can't be 1, so this must be 1 to break up the order there, and this must be 4. Across we're missing 9, and just by default, no matter what we place here, we'll will not create an increasing or decreasing set. And actually, the same is true here just because 1, 2, and 3 have already been minimized. So no matter what we place in these cells, just by default will be set. So let's do the last set of arrows that we can do. And once again, we don't need to do any weird logic. We can just place 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty straightforwardly. And just double checking. Yep, we are good. Now across we're missing 1. No, not 1. Hello. There's a 1 right here. Let's try 4. That might be better, which means this needs to be less than 4, right? Because that's greater than the 3, so this must be the 2. So now, 9 can't go next to the 8 here, because if it did, no matter what you placed here would give you an increasing set, which means this must be 9. Across, we're still missing that 5. We still need 7 and 6. I don't actually see a way to resolve that. I think any way we do that, it should be fine. So from the column here, we're missing 8. From this column here, we're missing 9. Hello. 9. 1 will certainly just by default be the lowest of the set. 2 by default without being able to use 1 will also by default be the lowest of the set. Oh, well, 9 can't go here because once again, anything you place here would cause a decrease. So this must be 9, which means this is the lowest of the set, which means, well, I guess let's just finish this. This is where 1 has to go. I was thinking 1 couldn't go there, but just by Sudoku here, we are left with what? 3, 4, and 6. I don't see any way to place this that would cause the these like this to break because of increasing or decreasing. So What that means is maybe we consider what's going on here. Yeah, because look at that. Very easily, no, no fancy stuff required. Just plain old Sudoku tells us this is 7 and this is 5. And now we know this has to be less than, but what are we missing? 2, 3, and 8. So this can't be 8, this can't be 8, so this is 8. And now we have a 2, 3 pair, which 3 ends up in one of these two cells. I don't know how useful that is. The 7 and 6 still aren't resolvable, so then what are we looking at here? 6 and 5. 6 here, 5 here. That gives us 5 here. 6, 6, 7. 6 gives us 6. And what are we missing up and down here in the column? We need 7 and 8. 7, 7, 8, 8, 4. And we're coming to a close here, folks. We need 1 and 3 and all right, 2, 4, 7. 7, 4, and 2. 2 gets us 2, gets us 3. 3 gets us 3, gives us 4 and 6. And we are done in 7 minutes and 35 seconds with William Tell by Clover. So, with that, hopefully you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.